Hello, everybody. Welcome to our first episode of Ash and Ruin. I'm so excited to have everyone here tonight. I'm so excited to tell this story with these amazing people. Why don't we go around and introduce ourselves and who we're playing tonight? Cynthia, why don't you start us off?
Hey everyone, I am Cynthia Marie. May know me from a little show that's a vampire show called Light by Night. I play Nellie G on there. I play a bunch of other one-shot games, but I'm really excited to be here and play Ash and Ruin with friends. Today I'm going to be playing Lucrecia Borgia, or she's known as Lucy. She is a La Sombra. Surprise! I'm playing La Sombra. Who would have thought of that? Anyways, how much more do you want about the character, or you want to find out in game?
Let's be mysterious. Let's maintain our air of mystery. You're half hiding under that hat, so I feel like it fits. Michelle,
Perfect.
who are you going to be? Michelle,
Hi,
who are you going to be tonight?
I'm Michelle Sealight. I'm a storyteller, writer, role player, dork. And I'm playing Rose O'Connell, a Toreador.
All right. Can't wait to meet her. B-Dave.
Dave Walters. I say words about things. I also appear on a vampire show that Cynthia is on occasion. In tonight, I will be playing Enoch, who can get you whatever you want if you can pay the price. Clan Nosferatu.
Spooky boy. Justice.
Oh, hello. I'm Justice. I'm one half of the team here at Bard and Barbarian, and I stream a couple different things around the place. Some Call of Cthulhu, some World of Darkness, some D&D, and tonight I'm playing Henry Darling. I move the numbers. I make them equal what they need to be, and make sure that the right people know and the right people don't. And I'm a Malkavian, and we're just gonna see how this all plays out tonight.
And last but certainly not least, Kelly.
Hello, I'm Kelly. Most people know me as the Opera Geek because I am a geek who also sings opera. I am playing Mev, who is a Toreador. Oh my gosh, surprise.
I'm floored,
surprise
frankly.
Face.
I'm floored.
It's just honest. Yes, she is a chanteuse at the nightclubs when she feels like making it look like she has a real job that can pay for things.
It's fair. Everyone has to have a hobby.
Oh, is that my hobby?
I figured. I mean, you have several. But I will be your storyteller this evening. I am Diana D'Amico. I'm the other half of Bard and Barbarian. I'm usually hanging out somewhere on the internet. But again, I am so excited to start this chronicle with you all. So without further ado, let's head back to Chicago. 1931 Chicago. Forgive me, but I'm going to read. We'd always thought that the fire was the worst of it, but the Great Depression hit Chicago hard. Families were poor, businessmen were falling from the sky, children went to bed hungry. But not so hungry as you. At first, it seemed as though this downward spiral of the human condition would work in favor of the kindred. Desperation made for easy feeding until it became too easy, too simple, too often. Last year, the bloodless body of one Frankie Yale was found folded into a milk crate and tossed in an alley. Even the overburdened Chicago PD couldn't keep that out of nationwide papers. But they doctored Frankie's condition to fit the gangland mentality that was becoming popular. Not wanting to draw attention from the eye of the Second Inquisition, the families knowledgeable and embraced created the blood banks. The blood banks were random, friendly storefronts converted into safe locations for the hungry to feed. Locations rotated around territory lines and were designated as neutral territories in an effort to keep the masquerade alive and bloodshed between clans to a minimum. Blood bags were made available for a small fee, or you could always owe a favor for the real thing. Chester LaForge's blood bank is in the meatpacking district. It's usually housed one or two live bodies for you if you had the right price to pay. We begin tonight with Enoch. Enoch, where are you headed?
To make a deposit. I'm walking down the sidewalk carrying a very large rolled up carpet.
And what does Enoch look like?
Could be anybody, really. Sort of look at him and just kind of slips through your awareness a little bit. Tall, not too tall. Dark, not too dark. Hair, combed but unremarkable. Dressed like a working man. Could be anybody.
To a discerning eye, does he have any characteristics that might stand out?
Depends on how discerning that eye is. But he is a proud member of Clan Nosferatu, which he might reveal on occasion in mixed company, but he tends to keep the mask on for the sake of the sensitive or easily offended. Tend to spend more time talking to the rats and the pigeons than kindred, because usually when I'm with one of our own kind, there's not much for us to discuss.
As you make your way down the alley that leads to the entrance to the blood bank, you glance in both directions to make sure you aren't being followed. You knock on the heavy metal door. A specific pattern, a wrapping that you've made many, many times in many, many locations that everyone seems to know. A small slat in the door opens, revealing two eyes that scrutinize you only for a moment before the door swings open. And before you is Chester LaForge's blood bank.
Before I enter, even as I make my way down the alley, I make a point that I pull a couple of crackers out of my pocket and I sprinkle crumbs along the alleyway as I'm walking. I have a vested interest in keeping the rats appeased.
As you step over the threshold and enter the building, the doorman raises an eyebrow in your direction when he sees you scattering the crumbs and... Weirdo.
Don't you like tips?
Not from you. Head upstairs, they're waiting for you.
Always on time. Watch your back down here. People get a little bitey, I hear.
He'll turn his back to you and shut the door with a little too much force. As you make your way into the room, this is a location you've visited more than once before. However, the blood bank is always changing where it's at, so the layout takes a moment to become familiar to you. It's a large open space with concrete floors. Drains are spread sporadically around. In theory, for animal waste, but it works just as well for your purposes. There's a small staircase, narrow, rickety metal. It leads up a single flight of stairs to several layers of rafters that are scaffolded around. There's a glass-encased office in the center of this scaffolding. You know that's where Chester will be. However, the rest of that upper deck is full of looky-loos and standbys and high society.
I make a point that when I walk, it's absolutely silent. Even the creaky stairs don't make a peep when I'm on them.
As you take your first couple steps up, you are silent. It's your specialty, after all. But no one escapes the discerning eye of Lucretia. Lucretia, from your vantage point on the scaffolding, you sit on sort of a velvet tufted sofa, very out of place for this building. What are you doing here tonight?
I am meeting with some clients to make sure that my assets that have been invested here are indeed where they should be. That is a interesting vantage point that I have, as I can see where this other person is coming from, and I'd like to take a note of it, just in case. But I don't make it obvious. I just kind of glance over and continue talking to whomever was in front of me about my investments.
What do you look like as you sit there?
So Lucretia is a very fashionable woman, very fashion forward mostly. So big black fur going on. Doesn't like to see her face too much, so she wears a lot of hidden big hats. She has auburnish red hair to hide a couple of things that she may have been known for in the past. But she looks like she could be a historical figure, biblical figure, but you're not quite sure because things like slight things don't like match up to what you may have read about what Lucretia Borgia would have looked like. But yeah, she's just fashionable, but dressed in all black, big fur, and kind of just hiding her face just ever so slightly.
Kind of like a vampire Carmen Sandiego. She's got that mysterious vibe going on.
Yeah, pretty much.
And Lucretia, as you sit there, you're talking about your investments, and this is something you're very well versed in, I would think. I mean, with your experience and your knowledge. However, the dandy across the couch from you is shaking. There's something wrong. Henry.
Go ahead.
Henry, you're sitting across from Lucretia.
Yes. Yes.
What brings you here this evening?
Well, ever since my embrace, I've been taking care of certain affairs within the unsavory types within the Chicago element, and my expertise in the funds that transfer from one to another, and buying and selling and investing, more importantly, is sort of my specialty. So I've been tapped in to several different elements within the underbelly, and I work my magic in the background, ensuring that every column adds up.
Lucretia sits across the sofa from you, talking to you about moving money. What do you look like to her as you sit there?
Well, I don't like to tap myself on the back too much, but most people, when they take a look at me, are floored, let's say. Gorgeous, absolutely stunning. Immaculately coiffed hair, from the top of my head to the bottom of my beard, but that's where it stops. It appears that Henry doesn't pay much attention to what he's wearing, or what state of repair it's in, or even how clean it is. So while his appearance is nearly otherworldly, it looks like he may or may not have simply talked somebody out of their suit and worn it until it's reached the state of disrepair that it's in.
Lucretia, this is the man who's giving you financial advice right now.
Excellent. So I'm supposed to listen to a person who can't even afford a proper suit. How do I know that you are holding my money or my investments in the correct way?
Wealth has no place with me. I reject it at any opportunity. You see, in my past life, I was quite wealthy, and I fear that that led to the state that I'm in now. And so many of my clients think that that is my greatest asset. for lack of a better word, because they know I have no interest in the paltry sums that I'm moving for them.
Enoch, this is the conversation that you hear as you circumnavigate these couches and head towards the main office, because you're here on business and that's the main event. As you approach, you can see inside of the glass office, Chester LaForge is pacing and talking emphatically, which isn't unusual for him. He actually seems quite jovial this evening, which does seem unusual for him. Chester is a tall man, almost 7 feet tall, truly. He stands very stout, wearing a beautiful pinstriped 3-piece suit, waving a cigar in one hand, really trying to portray this image of the businessman. Half of his face sports the burn marks that he earned himself in the fire of Chicago. The other half raises slightly in a bit of a smirk. And he's speaking to a woman who clearly isn't taking any of this shit. Kelly, tell us about Maeve.
So Mev is sitting there just observing this ranting, frantic pacing. And she has an air about her of absolute stillness. But it's almost like readiness. As in, don't move too quickly. She is dressed rather impeccably, if plainly. Except the only thing that looks out of place is what looks like a very, very old copper cuff that she wears on her left wrist. Occasionally, when she's slightly bored of what passes for conversation, she'll let her gaze wander around and it might rest in a corner or two, and she'll smile or laugh and then look back like, oh, I'm sorry, were you speaking?
Every time you seem to drift off and come back, you see Chester falter, only slightly. And the final time that this occurs, he just kind of like, the smirk goes away completely, but he catches Enoch's eye through the glass and uses that as a good excuse to leave this conversation. What was it you were trying to get this evening, Mev?
Oh, just a little information. Nothing too fancy. Something that could easily be provided, but I just wish so much that the person providing it was more interesting to listen to.
Chester doesn't appreciate that. However, Enoch's here. He takes the opportunity to scramble out of this room, opening the door, taking a confident pace, and then immediately slumping his shoulders for a moment before turning to face you, Enoch. What'd you bring me tonight?
Got a little bit of your favorite.
Fresh?
Only way I operate, Mr. LaForge.
Breathing?
Of course.
Oh, Enoch.
He's proper spifficated. I fed him the gin myself, just like you like. Little taste of home, right?
Runner, I appreciate everything you do. You're one of my best guys. I don't. Why don't you come on over here, have a seat, have a drink, relax for a few minutes before you head back out. I know you probably got 15 or 20 other errands to do tonight.
We are burning moonlight, but I always got time for you, Mr. LaForge. Hello. Hi. Who is this? Look at Mev.
I'm sorry, were you speaking? Hello. Do I know you?
Mev, surely you know Runner. He's the best of the best. You don't want nothing to do with this broad, Runner. You better just...
Oh.
At that, Mr. 7 foot tall is going to suddenly find Mev very, very close in his space. Even though she's not that big. And she just looks and says, I'm sorry. What did you call me?
I'm sorry, Miss Mev. I'm sorry, Miss Mev. I'm sorry. You got me a little flustered earlier. It's my own fault. I should have...
You should learn to calm down.
You know what? Why don't the two of yous go and grab yourselves a nice drink and relax for a minute and let me lower my blood pressure for a second if you catch my drift. I'll be fine.
I motion towards the carpet. I'm like, you want this in here or out there or...
Bless you for thinking of my needs, Runner. And he'll actually just hoist it off of your shoulder and retreat to his office.
Right when he takes that out of my hands, I go, hey, let me just make Rich. All right. I had to tenderize that for you a little bit.
And you do hear a very muffled just grunt, just on the second or third blow. It's good you did that. You really took care of that for him. So, bless you, Runner. And he'll go in and shut the door behind him, leaving you standing with Miss Mav.
Sorry to interrupt your business. Might I ask what your business is?
Might I ask why? Oops. Am I muted? No, okay, good. Usually I am. Might I ask why you want to know?
So that I might be of some assistance. I understand why Chester might look down on a member of the fairer sex, but I've spent a lot of nights getting looked down on for what I am. I assure you, I'm not gonna do it to you.
Just information. There's been so many people turning up, no longer breathing, that seem to have been brought that way prematurely.
Well, you know, it's dangerous out there. You say the wrong thing, the wrong guy, the wrong person, too much money. That Capone kid is starting up some outfit. It's,
He's going to get himself in trouble.
Inevitably.
He doesn't know how to do the numbers.
There's a lot of ways to end up dead these nights.
Lucretia, you recognize Mev instantly when she steps out of that office. You know Runner, you think maybe from some previous activity or another, but Mev is your kind of gal, your kind of company.
I wait a moment just to kind of understand the relationship between Enoch and Mev before I kind of turn a glance and kind of wave to her, sort of situation. Hello, Mev. Good evening.
Ezia, how are you?
I'm fine. Actually, I'm going by Lucy these days.
I apologize.
It's okay. The many gnomes go to and from the night, so Lucy it is for tonight.
Ah, the value of a good name.
I agree.
And as you all
hello, darling.
As you all stand there are several very pale, very sick-looking humans walking around with trays of beverages. Some, you'll note, have a slightly human component to them. Others are just plain old champagne. One of these humans takes a step past you and offers you each a glass from the tray in turn.
Clarification, it's just champagne?
There are several that are champagne flutes with blood in them, and then there are some that are just champagne.
Got it. Okay. I'm gonna grab just the one with the champagne in it.
Okay. Anyone else partaking?
Mev as well.
Okay.
She's not going to. She's just going to have champagne.
Runner, Henry.
I just look at the tray, and then I look at them, and I look at Henry, and I go, shake. Then I look at Lucy and say, Sheba, drinks.
What the gentleman? After you, sir. I won't be partaking just this moment.
And
I apologize. I don't understand English very well sometimes. What did you call me?
It means it's slang, beautiful lady, and handsome man.
I see. And what is your name again?
You can call me Enoch.
Enoch?
Hmm.
Interesting type name. I see.
Enoch, you've done errands for her before. She should know who you are.
I never look the same twice. It's all right. I don't mind being overlooked, but I do just say, we've done business, Lucy. It's just this is sort of never the same twice.
Oh, I see. We've done business. I do business with lots of people.
I look around, the people here, I mean, there's mortals here, but I mean, this isn't screaming masquerade breach, right? Like they're pretty much here to be fed on.
No, so in the scaffolding with the sofas, this is very plushed out, and you can tell none of this is here on a daily basis. It's almost set up like a makeshift office for Chester and his cohorts, his business partners, if you will. If you glance over your shoulder at the actual floor of this warehouse type building, it's far less pristine down there. There are a couple half-dead humans leaning up against the wall. You can see that there are a few kindred in a line leading up to a table where a man sits behind the counter collecting dollar bills and coins and things like that, and either hands the kindred a blood bag or directs them over to one of the husks leaning against the wall. But this area is extraordinarily plush for what it is.
I sort of look at all three of them in their finery, and I just sort of take a step backwards and I say, well, I don't mean to offend, but I drop Mask of 1,000 Faces, and I look jet black and borderline skeletal. Like there's like zero fat on his face. It's just like jet black skin and muscles and striations in like thick white webbing. Like every vein is visible, is like this pulsating white all over his face. He goes,
Beautiful, darling. I encourage everyone to be themselves whenever they can be. Life's just easier that way.
Speak for yourself. I prefer to live in the shadows, thank you.
As you say, I prefer to live in the shadows. A disturbance over towards the side of the building that would normally be facing the open street makes you turn your head. There's a large plate glass window from the floor of this warehouse that leads into a hallway, presumably connected to the actual storefront. You hear a little bit of a shuffle, a crash, and a man goes running down the hallway, pulling frantically on the handle that leads out to the floor. And before you have a moment to react, two massive, hulking gray figures tear around the corner into the hallway and go straight through the plate glass onto the floor. A loud crash occurs, and these two forms become a little more upright, and you can see very clearly these are lupines. And in half a stride, one of them has reached the staircase leading up to the landing where you all stand right now. What are you doing?
To clarify, it's like the lupines are here as hostiles. Like
yeah.
some. Oh, okay, right. I'm going to disappear. I'm just going to like whoever is closest to me, just step behind them, and I am gone.
I love Nosferatu.
For the record, I've passed my nightly rouse check and Mask of 1,000 Faces, and now have passed Unseen Passage. And I'm also going to rouse Silence of Death. So basically, just look, and I'm like, huh.
Yeah, I'm right there with Enoch, and I immediately go, I live in the shadows, and basically like cloak myself, and I'm using shadow cast. I'm out. And I did pass my rouse check for waking up, and I just passed it again for activating this.
Mev, you were just staring at these two individuals, and now they're gone. And where they were standing, you now have a clear line of sight on this thing that's tearing up the stairs and has literally just taken one of Chester's guards and torn him in two. The two pieces hit the floor of the warehouse with a...
That's just messy.
Oh dear.
What would you like to do?
Question.
Yes, dear.
Am I allowed to have weapons or no?
That's up to you. What would
I
Mev
just
have
didn't
on
know
her?
how that works, like inventory.
I mean, I don't think you're walking around with a Tommy gun, I'll put it that way. but-
No, I'm talking very sharp implements.
Yes, you probably definitely have something like
Yes,
that on
I
you.
do. I have a couple. So she's going to pull out two, obviously much older but very well cared for, short daggers. Now, I'm all for being nice to doggies, but not when they make a mess. And she's going to take a defensive posture.
Okay.
Darling, are you just going to sit there?
Well, not so much for the brawling, so carry on. And I'm going to stand up and just walk away slowly, but putting Mev between myself and the werewolves, casually but determinedly.
Henry, do me a favor. Make me a wits awareness roll right now.
First roll of the game.
First roll of the game.
Hold, please.
And you all
there
get
it
eaten
is.
by werewolves. The end. Bye.
Well, that was quick.
This is my first Vampire the Masquerade campaign, guys.
We'll die as I've lived. Yep.
Rose
1, 2, 3.
shows up and there's just nothing but blood, and she's like, I
3 successes.
All right. As you turn to step away, you notice this werewolf is staring directly at you.
Oh,
It's tracking your movement.
well. This is going to be quite awkward. He's full lupine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Mev is
Well,
staring,
Krynos form, we'll put it that way. We're like halfway between man
Right.
and wolf.
Mev isn't making any offensive movements. She's simply ready to react to something, but she kind of turns her head when she notices this and goes, "Oh." And that's it.
Chester has opened the door to his office just a crack and sees what's going on, and you hear him go, "Oh, fuck me," and slam the door shut.
Well, there goes my escape route.
In the same moment, the lupine that was standing in front of you, Mev, drops to all fours and starts taking very slow, deliberate, stalking movements across the floor. The other lupine, who entered the building at the same time, just a minute runner, takes 4 quick paces across the floor while all of this is happening. You hear shrieks and screams happening below you. They've torn apart 1 or 2 of the humans that were leaning against the wall. They've got a hold of the doorman who treated you so rudely, Enoch. They're just tearing the place apart. Runner, what did you want to do, Enoch?
So far, so there's a total of 2 lupines that we could see, right?
Yep.
Um,
I love that you say that you can see. You're just...
I've done this a couple times,
I
yeah.
love you so much.
So you tell me if I can do this, because technically this isn't a thing, because the lupines can understand what I'm saying. But
Yep.
I would like to activate feral whispers, so I'm actually speaking wolf, like I'm trying to talk to it as an animal.
Okay.
And I just say quietly, so I don't break my obfuscate, I don't think you're here to kill us, or we'd already be dead. So what can we do for you tonight?
Yes, I will allow you to do that. The wolf is gonna kind of like almost imperceptible to the eye, sort of start looking in its periphery. We're not here for you, Nos. Get your ass out of here now. And it'll continue to take slow, stalking steps forward until, not in the distance, but merely right out in the storefront, you hear a car come to a halt. Rose, you were doing your normal evening patrol. It's usually pretty quiet out here. Occasionally, you'll have to bust up a fight or deal with a prostitute or something simple. But this is the first time you've seen a door ripped from its hinges like this. You bring your car to a stop. What brought you here, other than your job? I mean, you don't have a partner with you.
Rose O'Connell is a second-generation Irish-American immigrant who gets out of her car wearing a trench coat that smells of a bit of whiskey, cigarette and cigar smoke, and a small tinge of gunpowder. As she makes her way to the blood bank, she was there to make a withdrawal. And as she looks and examines the door very closely, she's going to see exactly what type of force could have done something like this.
Make me a check. Not in this window, though. You know what? Make me wits and streetwise.
Three successes.
Okay, with 3 successes, you know a couple of things. That this is something very strong. But you also know this isn't the first time this has happened in Chicago this month. Similar events have taken place across the city. No particular location seems to be at risk. It's not all blood banks. Some of them are just plain old businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Do you continue inside?
Well, of course, there's an ongoing investigation.
As soon as you cross the threshold, an alarm trips. An actual alarm for the door. Your hand caught the door jamb on the way in, and a large metal bell begins to sound.
Motherfucker.
For everyone in the back of the building, you start to hear this shrill bell, and all of a sudden, the lupines, which had been very, very focused when they first arrived here, they turn and look at the front of the building, the one who was upstairs with you, rumbles in wolf, so only Enoch can understand. We'll be back next time. And it turns, jumps down the flight of stairs in one fell swoop, and they both scramble to the back door and out into the alley.
As it's leaving, I just say to it, I'll make a point not to be here.
Go ahead.
And then I turn and look at Henry, and I say, looks like this cake eater is who they were after. What's your story, buddy? Why you got hitters like that coming for you?
Henry, you hear this coming out of thin air.
I thought I fixed this.
Fixed what?
Oh, did you hear that too, then?
Yes.
Right, okay, yes. It's hard to...
The bell is still
Sometimes.
sounding.
Oh,
Very
God,
loud.
I've always wanted to say this. Saved by the bell. Voice. I'm not quite sure. I have many sticky fingers and many sticky pies, but this particular one's not oh, it's not ringing a bell.
Back at the front of the store, this bell is sounding so loud. Rose, you know that if you don't get it shut off very quickly, more police are going to arrive, and you're going to have to explain this. And you don't want to have to explain this.
No, I don't. I'm just gonna try to rejam it.
With what?
Well, anything I can find.
Okay. Make me... What do we feel like fixing a bell is? I feel like that's probably gonna be...
Roll for bell fix.
Roll for bell fix. Let's do...
X and... Well, sorry, you. I tell you what I would think it is, but no, this is your table. You tell us what it is.
I don't know what the hell I'm doing. B-Day, what do you think?
I just said Dex and larceny personally.
Oh,
It's
see,
it's reverse crime.
I was
add
that's good with it.
Can I add my dot in security?
You know what? Heck yes, you can.
Roll for reverse crime.
Roll for reverse crime. Anti-crime.
That's a 5 right there.
Yeah, you immediately locate where this bell is just ringing, which isn't hard, admittedly, because it's killing your eardrums. You find a piece of debris, a little chunk of wood from the door, and you just kind of shove it right in between the two pieces that are vibrating together. And it's now silent.
Well then. Whatever is doing this fucking localized crime is just... I don't... either it's some serious kindred tomfoolery, or it's something else that I've never seen before.
There is a very clear path of destruction here.
I'm gonna follow the path of destruction, and I'm gonna activate Sense the Unseen.
Okay. Enoch.
Are there enough dead people here to force us to have to make hunger frenzy rolls? Because there's 5 of us, and there can be no negative repercussions to this course of action.
Does anyone already have
What's wrong with you?
Does
I
anyone
know what
already...
the people paid to see. Okay, this is not for you. It's for the internet.
You know what? B-Dave is
feel like
finally
I've
not
itemized
Victor
this.
Temple, so I feel like he's trying to lose his shit. Which, you know, you do you, baby boo. I'm gonna let this happen. Does anyone have a hunger of 2 or higher already? Maeve, you do not.
We would have just had the 1 if we failed our.
You would have 2 if you
2
failed
if you
your.
failed
we
your
start
hunger
with the
check.
1, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Negative Ghost Rider.
Anyone? No? Okay. You know, Enoch, I'm going to let you decide if you need to roll for this. Because of all the people here, you're the one who's probably not fed recently.
Yeah, but I don't think they have what I want on tap. So I'm also at 1. So I think I'm probably good. Yeah.
So the 4 of you stand in the back, and there's a lot to clean up, but most of the people who were separated from their lower halves were kindred. It seems that there was a little bit of targeting going on. Rose, as you kind of follow this path, you find yourself in a narrow hallway. To your left, there's a large glass window that's blown out into the warehouse floor. If you take a step or two forward, you see 3 dead bodies, just torn in half like tissue paper. On the ground, you see what remains of the blood bank. As you knew it, it was just a table with some blood bags that you could go and get an easy meal and not have to worry about too much. Now, those bags are strewn about the floor. There's blood on the walls. The table's been pushed to the side of the room and is now in splinters on the floor. And slightly further into the room, ahead of you, above you, stands a group of kindred with shock on their faces.
For the record, I'm still in the shadows.
Still in the shadows. So you cannot see Runner or Lucretia as they stand there. But what do you look like to them, Rose?
Rose, red hair, brown trench coat, tied at the waist, simple hat. She does have some makeup on her face, a bit of eyeshadow, lipstick, mascara. She's got a bag with her. And it's a bit dusty, got a bit rips and tears in it a bit. It's got there's just her outfit is a bit. It's a part of her aesthetic of the worn type. Her jacket though is pristine. It's almost as if she doesn't let anything stain it.
Does she have her badge on display?
It isn't on display.
Okay. So, to all of you who are already inside of the blood bank, it just looks like someone's wandered in off the street. Chester, having quickly dealt with the intrusion on his blood bank, swings open the door to his office in a rage. Those fucking bitches sent him here. I swear to God, I'm gonna fucking find him. And Runner, I got another job for you. You're gonna have to dispose of some bodies for me.
You know the rate.
Who is he talking to?
Henry? Why was that wolf looking at you like that?
Yeah, why, Henry?
I haven't the foggiest.
You, down there in the window, get your ass up here now.
As soon as Henry says I haven't the foggiest, can I use that thing that I have where I know if someone's lying?
Yep. Yeah, you can absolutely use your...
Thanks, Mom.
An ear for lies.
Yes. So, tell me how I do that, please.
Bear with me here. I'm looking it up. Anyone with an encyclopedic knowledge of
Not it.
Vampire the Masquerade is welcome to help. Oh, it's not on your list, Michelle.
Oh no.
I've
Yeah.
never heard about this till today.
Yeah, it's so much so like there's not supposed to be a way to detect lies and like expressly there's not supposed to be one. So
Oh.
if there is one, it's brand new.
It was an internet find.
Oh, no, that's
that
not
we
a
talked
thing.
about.
Oh, okay.
No,
Well,
that's
then forget that.
Expressly, it's one of the design philosophies.
did-
There is no way to know when someone's lying.
I'll
Well,
pick something else
you
then,
you
Diana.
could
No, no.
you could insight.
I was
can
gonna
wits
say,
and
why
insight.
don't you give me wits and insight then?
Yep.
Okay.
So however many dots you have in those two skills, go ahead and roll them together
Yeah.
for me.
So maybe
I-
you'll know if he's in.
Do I roll something?
so that I don't have too many. Okay. No.
Yeah.
Well, Henry, forgive me, but I think that you don't know why they would be after you, do you?
I haven't thought yes.
That's what I thought.
So I would like to mention again that I've never played this game, and what is the good successes on the dice?
6 or above is a success.
She has
10
the
is.
actual dice.
Oh, you have
So
the
if
actual dice?
The Ankh.
Oh,
The
yep.
Ankh's the good stuff.
Mhm.
Okay, I have
Mm.
3 of those.
Okay.
Do any of them have the stars?
Yeah.
1.
Well, okay, so if 2 of those have the stars, it's 4 successes. But if there's just 1, it's 1 success.
Okay.
So
For
so
everyone
3.
in chat, a lot of us are really still new to this. This is my first time storytelling. Kelly is still new to the game. Justice has only played in 1 game. So luckily we have some veterans here, but bear with us.
Oh.
Hey, even some of us veterans get it wrong too.
No, you're perfect. Shut up, Cynthia.
So that's 3 successes.
With 3 successes, you can tell this man acting erratically. You don't know that he's with it enough to lie to you. And he seems pretty sincere as he says this.
And I've met him before, so I know that he's twitchy to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
So she's just going to give him like this like deadpan stare that she's like, she just wants to say Henry, really.
Rose, Chester came out of his office, pointed directly at you, and told you to get your ass upstairs. Do you do as he says?
She's got to get some more information about what the fuck's going on, so of course she's gonna go upstairs, try to get some answers.
Do you do anything on the way across the warehouse floor as you head to the staircase?
She's gonna look for potential exits in case she needs to get the heck out of Dodge.
Okay.
And she is definitely going to take a look at, because their corpses just sploon about. She's gonna definitely take an eyeball them to see if she can figure out a cause of the death.
It's fairly obvious that whatever happened to the door happened to the people.
So whatever did this is pretty fucking strong.
It's not weak. It doesn't have any of the tact and grace that you're used to seeing among kindred culture. We'll put it that way.
And sure as fuck wasn't a Tommy gun.
No guns in sight. Oddly enough.
No ballistics. It's just
none
of this.
Just good old fashioned rip and tear.
Mm.
Chester is frantically just pacing the floor, mumbling to himself, Henry, I swear to fucking God, if you brought those things here, those stupid bitches were supposed to show up. We had a meeting and then they didn't show up and I got stuck talking to Mev. He's just talking to himself and pacing.
Can I sneak up behind him? Because I'm in shadow still, so I'm moving through the shadows. And I'm just gonna whisper in his ear real quick. You need to calm down, otherwise we will never be able to solve this problem. If you do not calm down, I will make sure that you do. Do you understand?
Make me a charisma and persuasion roll. Real quick.
Persuasion and what else again? I'm sorry?
Persuasion and charisma.
I got 2 successes.
Okay. Chester kind of just stops for a minute, and he seems to almost remember who you are and that you were there. And he takes a minute and kind of like smooths his hair down his... Lucy, show yourself.
So I step out of the shadows and immediately activate Daunt. So I am hella intimidating looking now.
Okay, all right, I'm cool.
Mev is very amused by this.
Are you sure? Because perhaps maybe we need to take a trip to the church and pray, no?
You gotta head over to the club before you go to the church. It's right across the street. Come on, Lucy. You gotta ask the sisters what's up. They were supposed to be here tonight. And suddenly they don't show and all of a sudden I get attacked? My money man, gets attacked?
What does these sisters have to do with these?
I'm just saying it's suspicious, like.
Do not make me ask it twice here.
They were supposed to come by. I gave them all that money for that club and they didn't come by. All of a sudden they don't show and we get attacked? You can't possibly tell me that's a coincidence. Runner, where'd you go? You always say there's no such thing as coincidence. Where did you go?
I've already taken out 2 of them. Chester, just keep your shirt on, buddy. You might make it out of this alive. Because, hey, if they wanted you dead, you'd be fucking dead. But 2 things I would like to do.
Yes, dear.
I would like to summon via feral whispers every pigeon in the area. I got 3 successes, so that's probably every pigeon in a few blocks should head this direction.
Okay.
And as I'm disposing of the bodies, I'm looking to see if there's a pattern to who was killed. I got 7 successes on Streetwise. Just, is there a pattern in the clan? Is there a pattern in what they do for a living? Like, why did they kill these people?
You know, so looking at the the destruction before you, you can tell that the folks that were taken out were almost in a straight line leading directly to where Henry was. And with 7 successes, you also realize that lupines wouldn't have any reason to run from an alarm. If they wanted to stay and kill everyone, everyone would be dead.
Everybody be dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's I wasn't scared about it. I do go about disposing of the bodies as because this is a place for such things.
How
although
do you
I
dispose of the bodies?
I absolutely take all their wallets and valuables, by the way. Like, I rob them and then I get
loot the bodies. Yeah. You do.
Well, you said there's a meat packing joint, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do they have a shredder?
A grinder?
A grinder,
An
a
industrial
deboner?
grinder?
Mm-hmm.
You know
Is
what?
there, say, a pie shop upstairs?
No,
possibly?
this isn't Sweeney Todd. We're not doing a musical tonight.
Oh.
You said tonight. That doesn't mean we can't do it another night.
You know what? If you all prepare a musical for next week, we will have a 2-hour Vampire the Masquerade musical.
Choreography.
Choreography. Is there something I would have to roll to kind of be by Enoch, whether or not he notices that I was there? I'm very sure.
Theoretically, the first person I schlep over my shoulder, I'll appear. Like, I can only stay invisible while I'm like doing small things. So the first time I'm like, horp, everybody would kind of see me
but
doing
for
my
a split
thing.
second, it looks like the body is sort of reanimating itself and flailing its arms in the air, and then it lands on his shoulder and he reappears.
Mev almost, it's a little odd. She kind of giggles for a second, and then she's like, oh. And then she looks like she's getting distracted and possibly talking to thin air to most people. He was very surprised to be torn in half. And then she just kind of looks up at him.
Isn't everyone?
Well, I mean, yeah, you have a point.
Excuse me, miss. I saw how quick you pulled out those shanks. You're probably no stranger to getting a little dirty, but I don't want to get any of this on your lovely attire.
Oh, it's okay. I have all sorts of ways to clean things. But I appreciate that.
I kind of am the way they clean things. Yes.
There is, pushed against one of the outer walls of this building, there's kind of a large workman's table with several small meat grinders attached and some bone saws sitting there.
So this is a volume business. I'm just going to stack them all up and I'm going to come back to Chester and be like, all right, I realize this might be a bit of a sore spot, LaForge. We got to burn this fucking building down.
No. Why?
2 problems. Too much meat, too much heat.
All right.
Also, is that a fucking cop?
Yes.
You a fucking cop?
Mev kind of looks over. Oh, yes. She is a cop.
I mean, she looks like a cop. Pointing around.
Slowly turns and kind of like basically lines herself up with Enoch so like she's not seen.
Yeah.
I mean, no, she does look like one, but that's because she is one.
Rose.
You remember what I said about not looking down on you for what you are? I mean, that's something you chose, so I'm gonna look down on you for being a fucking cop. Are you for what? What?
Oh, I thought you were speaking to me.
No, Ro, are you a cop too? We got 2 cops?
No, I'm very definitely. And for a minute, she looks a lot more dangerous than she should, and she just says, "I am definitely not a cop."
Can all of you please just shut the fuck up for 1 second?
Oh.
Excuse me, miss.
Excuse me?
Oh,
I need to figure out exactly why businesses are being hit up like this.
And before you know it, Chester has you by the throat, in the air, squeezing his hand. It's
silly games.
Funny, even as a man, just a man, he almost has a vice-like animal grip on your throat.
Because the only thing stopping the cops from coming is me.
We're burning the building down, Chester. I'm gonna go start pouring the fuel out.
All right, fine. I'll tell Giovanni that he's gonna have to find a new location for his business. But look.
Excuse me, 1 moment. You said Giovanni.
Yes.
Enoch, I don't think we should be burning this place down. I think we should find another way, and quickly. By the way,
Look,
I still have Daunt up.
she's scary AF right now. And Chester kind of turns to you all. Look, we can scrub the bodies. We can handle all this. We'll make it look like a normal robbery. No one will think anything different of it. You stupid cops won't think anything suddenly. It's just you gotta go talk to the sisters. They had to have had something to do with this.
Yes, we will take a trip to the sisters. But in the meantime, this cop here, can you bring her down for a moment, please?
I think maybe go ahead and just twist her head off. It's the only way to be sure.
Well, I mean, we do have some friends in the department, you know what it is.
Yeah, right.
All right, young lady, you got a promise. If I put yous down, you're not gonna give me any more lip. And he looks. You've never seen a man give you this feral expression before. And with a half puckered and blistered, burned face, you believe he could make terrible things happen to you, and you've already died.
No more lip, sir.
Very good. All right, I'm gonna get my boys to work. Miss Lucy, thank you. Thank you. As always, thank you.
You're welcome. Macy, what is your name?
I'm Officer O'Connell.
First name, please.
Rose.
Would you like to have a seat with us, please?
I'd love to have I would love to have a conversation to figure out why this was another business hit by something that can tear people in half.
Wonderful. That wasn't a question that I asked you. Sit down.
Fine.
Just, Charles, have the ghouls take these up to the roof. Sun comes up, clean all that shit up for you, all right?
Always on it, Rena. I appreciate your mind for business. You should really come around more often. I appreciate it. And he'll kind of back away from you all and go and start directing some of the lackeys who are still in one singular piece to remove the bodies as directed.
Mev will wait to see where and when Lucy sits, and then she will go sit near Lucy and simply look over at her and say, "Nobody has much respect anymore. Have you noticed that?"
Yes, I've noticed. As I'm saying this, I'm sitting down in the exact same seat that I was in when you first found me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, these chairs are quite comfortable.
Henry, what are you doing while this is going on? You just realized that you were the target of a very dangerous and, for some, more, I mean, they're dead now. You got a couple guys ripped in half.
Oh no, I didn't do that. Cause and effect are merely things that happen, right? I didn't cause them to get ripped in half. I have no idea why. And honestly, it doesn't bother me that much.
Let me ask you this here, Slick. Is there any reason the sisters would want you dead?
I wouldn't think so. Unless, well, no. I didn't mess up the columns. No, I did perfect columns, and they thanked me for it, and that's what allowed them to get their club on. I smoothed the wheels with a couple city officials.
I put my hand on his shoulder and I say, "So I'm still working under the assumption they didn't want you dead or you'd be dead. But is there something that they maybe could have squeezed out of you that might have been valuable?"
Now that is a very interesting line of thinking, and if I were to put any thought to it, it would probably disturb me, but I find it better not to think of things that would disturb me. I do have quite a bit of knowledge of certain undertakings within the city. In fact, and I will give a nearly courtly bow to the ladies on the couch. That is what brought me this evening to this location in the first place. Business. It's all business. And in business, you acquire a few secrets here and there.
You sound like a fucking Ventru.
Runner. Roll
Not
me
quite, my friend. Not
roll
quite.
me wits and larceny real quick.
Roll for crime.
Roll for crime.
Do the crimes.
I will say, pending what it is I'm trying to figure out, I have significant contacts in the city too.
And go ahead and add your context dice too. We'll see how much you know about this.
I know people that know stuff. That is 6 with a crit.
6. Okay. All right. As soon as he starts speaking about moving the numbers and making the columns, you get the sense that, oh, this is the guy who cooks the books. This is the guy, the investment banker for Chicago's crime. You try and place his name in your head, and you can't really recall him in particular. You do, however.
I'd remember this face, definitely.
Yeah, you know, it's a pretty face. It's a pretty nice face. Oh no, Justice, you didn't write down your sire. What's your boss's name, Justice?
My boss.
Yeah.
I do have that. Hold, please. I apologize. It's in my backstory.
You're just trying to place it. You know that there's some guy who just like he takes this really good accountant places and he sort of lends them out to all the different crime bosses.
Stanley Whitmore.
Good old Stanley Whitmore lending out his lackey.
Yeah.
This
right.
must be the guy.
Is Whitmore still in the game, by the way, just for my own edification?
Absolutely.
Lucy, correct me if I'm wrong. You are the Lucretia, right?
That depends. What do you want to know?
I might have an insight into why we had our visitors this evening, but are we sure we're good to talk business in front of law enforcement over here?
No, I don't think we are good to talk business whatsoever. Officer O'Connell, what brought you here? And make it quick, because we do have business to attend to.
The door. I was driving by, I saw the door, the alarm went off. The only thing that stopped anyone from coming was me turning it off.
Wait a second. Those fucking lupines got in here without setting off the alarm, but you didn't?
Curious. Officer O'Connell, I believe I may have seen your name pop up in a book or two here and there. Might it be assumed that you may or may not have provided information and turned a blind eye and in return for some funds or some favors or some snacks, as it were?
Could be referring to my pops. He's also Officer O'Connell, or was.
Oh, so your dad's on the take, but you're not?
The amount of care I have right now, after going through what I went through, for what they're doing, this is all just... The amount of care I have is minimal.
Well, just don't go growing a conscience all of a sudden while we're doing what we gotta do, okay?
Listen, I don't know what caused this, but it's been hitting up a lot of businesses and nobody's been able to solve it.
No, it was 600 pounds of werewolf. Did you not see? That's what caused it. It's just not why.
Did you just say werewolf?
You didn't see the lupines?
No. If they took off in the opposite direction from me.
Officer O'Connell, just out of curiosity, your time patrolling, do you patrol during the day or just at night?
Just at night. Nobody takes the graveyard shifts. It's what they call Charlie work.
Is it because you don't like the sun?
I like sleeping during the day.
Everyone but Rose. Make me a wits and insight roll.
I could wits and insight myself, see if I believe in myself.
We know you do. 4.
Oh, wait, no. Wait.
5. 1. BD is rolling a lot of dice. 3.
Actually not. Most of them are just like, I'm taking those out of the other pools. I'm good at what I'm good at, and that's it.
Everyone but Henry recognizes the look on Rose's face right now. Now, for Mev and Lucy, it's been a really, really long time. Runner, you two, not quite so long, but you know that freshly embraced expression.
A fledgling.
You remember what that was like. However hard you try and forget it.
Okay, look, kid. One way or another, you stepped in it now. So we got to get the fuck out of here before those lupines return and go talk to these sisters to see what they want with our fair gent over here.
Yeah, it's still open for speculation.
If you all could excuse me just 1 second, I need to talk to some informants.
Does Rose have a list of the businesses that have been hit by this strange phenomenon?
She doesn't, but only because she was intentionally kept off the case. She's just a beat cop. No one thinks she should know about that. So you've probably...
They give me the paperwork to fill out.
To file, more like...
Yeah.
You know, you're a woman. What else are you going to do at the station?
Oh, they have me make coffee runs all the time.
Look, you're good at it. Who can say? You've probably picked up one or two names of places in passing, but they didn't mean anything to you. It was like a department store and a residence. It was like an apartment building and then a small grocer, like a bodega style place. Like, none of them had anything in common. They were just torn to pieces.
Now, Michelle's got an idea, but can I roll to see if Rose has the same idea Michelle has?
Depends on what you're trying to discern.
Is Henry potentially the link between them all? I'm gonna...
Ooh. You're gonna roll me larceny and subterfuge.
Cool. I'm not gonna put my security dot in that.
Yeah, it wouldn't apply here.
While she's figuring it out, Mev is going to look up at Henry.
No.
Darling, is it possible that you maybe did the columns too well?
No such thing as too well.
Do you maybe know a
The
little
numbers
too
come
much
out as
about
the numbers come
somebody?
out.
Is what I'm asking you.
Oh, possibly, perchance. I pick up a thing or two as I go about, but it's all safely sealed behind the vault. It may have a few more holes in it than it used to, but it's still intact.
Rose,
I
how'd you roll?
mean,
Messy crit, 4 successes. I only had 2 dice.
Okay.
First time for everything.
You're like, you're standing there and you're trying to just recall that paperwork, and it's almost giving you a headache, and you were hungry. That's why you came here in the first place. And then all of a sudden, that Chester guy showed you up and treated you like dirt, just like everyone else has always done, and you lose it. And you take 2 quick paces towards one of the poor, emaciated husks that had been there for feeding purposes before, and you just latch onto him. You all witnessed this. It was like she was thinking for a minute and then lost it. Michelle.
She does
Rose.
She does boop over with celerity.
As you're kind of just digging into this, and there's blood and viscera sort of leaking out of the corners of your mouth, and not on your jacket though, mind you. Gotta keep that jacket nice and pristine. You do seem to remember that they were investigating a series of anomalies in some financial records. You don't remember Henry's name. Henry Darling doesn't ring a bell to you, but you do know that that was a recent topic of conversation at the station. There were several morning meetings about it recently. Runner, where were you heading off to?
Have my birds arrived?
Yep. It looks real weird outside right now. There are just a bunch of pigeons staring at the back door to this weird warehouse.
So I come out, I'm like, hey, gang, there were some fuck off big dogs that were in here. I need to know where they went. Can you guys keep an eye out? Anybody see anything? And I start more crackers, and I just start like, full old man on the ground in front of me, sprinkling out crackers, saying if any of the pigeons nearby saw the lupines leave and where they went.
The birds are kind of like watching you as you speak, and they're turning their head, and they'll occasionally swoop down to pick up a crumb. You do notice that a few of the rats in the city have come by to pick up your offering from earlier. So you've got like this whole little animal crew out there, and they all seem to be paying very close attention to what you're saying, and you think you might see a pigeon or two actually nod before they scoop up a crumb.
Oh, Feral Whispers, I can talk to them. Like, they may or may not react, that they're still birds and rats. They know what they know, but they know what I'm asking them.
Pigeons are not very wise. I don't know if you know this. Intelligence is
Rats
total
with
dump
wings.
stat for
Yes,
pigeons.
but it's
The rats know. The rats are like, yep, totally understand. We're gonna go do a couple searches right now. The pigeons are like trying to parse up the words you say that are more than 2 syllables, and they're like, okay, looking, big dogs. And they'll scoop up a couple of crumbs.
sort of look both ways, and out of my pocket I pull out a couple of fingers from people I took off the corpses, and I throw the rats some of the fingers.
The rats.
Finger food.
I love you so much. The rats gleefully scoop up the phalanges and make their way back to the shadows. Meanwhile, inside, Mev, Henry, and Lucy, you've just witnessed Runner left. Runner seems to have just like gone away somewhere. And the cop who showed up is currently covered in what used to be a human being.
Real quick, I'm gonna turn to Mev and go, do you want me to take care of the mess over there, or would you like to explain everything to the mess over there?
I tend to explain so sharply.
I mean,
Maybe you should explain. I mean...
All right. You know what?
We
I
could
take out a
both
point.
explain. I mean, we could, it's, you know, but I do love watching you work.
I appreciate it. All right. Well, I believe that my car is downstairs, and we should probably be making our way down to the sisters. I will grab the mess over there, and we'll bring her back over here shortly. One moment. I get up. I go over to Rose, and I like wait for Rose to finish because I am not rude and not going to interrupt somebody's feeding. I'm assuming Rose is kind of wrapping it up.
Yeah, she's probably already done with it.
It was a small meal, like tapas. Like there wasn't a lot there.
Are you done yet?
Those businesses were being investigated for irregularities in their books.
Lies and slander.
This is not what we are going to talk about right now. First, I need you to gain your composure. Are you okay?
Still getting used to this and the lack of whiskey.
I see. So this is all very new to you, no?
Normally I shake up criminals in an alley.
Well, you don't do that much anymore. I am sorry that you have to leave this life that we all do now.
I meant for...
First off, my name is Lucy.
Hi.
I'm going to tell you something right now so that you never forget. Do not ever interrupt me. Got it?
Mev is chuckling on the couch.
Sorry, ma'am.
Secondly, who was the one who turned you into this?
Don't even remember. It was some songbird.
I'm sorry for the life that this person has left you with. I'm sure it must have been very difficult these past few nights to figure out how to maneuver around these world of darkness, if you will.
Yeah, has been. Things are weird. I see things that are weird.
Darling, we all have very what you call weird.
It's like
What is this weird word?
things that nobody else can see.
Mev would then chime in from the couch. Oh, like?
Like, sometimes there's, like, faintness and wisps, and I don't even know what they are. Apparently werewolves are a thing, and, apparently I can jump really high. And
Maeve, this sounds like something that's maybe more in your realm more than mine.
Mev would stand up and stretch and walk over. Listen, you're going to have to learn how this works. You're going to have to learn how to control yourself. You're going to have to learn respect. And yes, werewolves are a thing. Now, do you even know the name of the songbird?
no, they sent me to check out a place, said that they were thinking it was some sort of speakeasy, but when I went to go check it out in the alleyway, I was gunned down.
That must have been a shock.
Yeah.
Darling, stop.
It sucked. And all I can remember was the singer from the club coming up to me, and I lost consciousness. And then when I woke up, it was almost sunrise, and I felt the something inside of me telling me I needed to get home.
That was a very fortunate something that told you to get home.
It's like
I think
a voice.
the best course for you right now is to observe more than you speak. Learn the rules. Eventually, maybe you'll survive a little bit longer. Who knows? Fun to find out, though. And then Mev will just, like, reach over and pat her on the cheek. They don't
Lucy.
even try very hard anymore, do they, Lucy?
Oh, they do not. On that note, Mr. Darling,
Oh, yes, yes.
are you ready to go see the sisters?
Oh, certainly. I do feel like we were interrupted, though, so if we could continue our conversation about how I may serve you and your family, I would love to continue that. In fact,
Yes, you can escort me to church after these.
it would be my absolute honor and pleasure.
Lucy, did you have your car pulled around?
I did. I hope so. I'm assuming it's just been there.
Yeah. You know what? I'm assuming you have a driver.
Yes.
He knows what he should be doing. He knows how you need to be served after all these years. And after a commotion, he knew he needed to bring the car by. So he pulls it up just behind Rose's squad car, actually. And it idles outside, waiting for you all. Runner, have you rejoined the group at this point?
Yeah, once I get done, putting the word on the streets of what I'm after. Actually, I wait by the car. I know they'll come out eventually.
So you all step outside, and Runner is. You can stop me if you think I'm wrong here, B-Dave, but I picture Runner kind of almost leaning against it, just arms crossed,
But
waiting.
although it's just a dude leaning against the car, but when you look at him, his eyes flash bright red and then go back to being just a dude.
It's just some guy again, just a guy.
Ev would walk out next to Henry, after Lucy said that he can take her to church, and she just walks next to me. She's like, "Oh, lucky you." and then just kind of saunters ahead.
Simply business, dear. In true gentlemanly fashion, I would offer my slightly ripe smelling arm to whoever is closest. I mean, the face makes up for a lot. I'm just saying, but
Who
the
do you
clothes just
offer
don't
it
get.
to? Because I think that'll make a difference.
Yeah, it's probably gonna make a difference.
If Mav goes past, then I'll offer it to Miss Lucrezia, as we start our way out the door.
I'm actually gonna be the last one because I'm gonna address Enoch. Yeah.
Then
So-
if I'm in my gentlemanly offer is rebuffed, then I will simply walk out alone.
When I see her get close, I just look at her and I say, I put my face back on lest I sully your beautiful automobile.
Is it the same face from last time?
It's massive 1,000 faces. It's just a dude.
He
It's just
takes
anybody.
it literally.
Yeah.
It is one of 1,000 faces.
Just
Mhm.
like that. So I know what's your name again?
I know you know it's me, ma'am. Enoch, you can call me. My friends call me Runner, if you would be more inclined.
I know a lot of people that work with me, but come on, you're allowed to come with us.
You know, that guy there, he seems odd. He is odd. Moon children. His sire, though, Stanley Whitmore, is a real player.
Duly noted.
Lucy knew that.
I think either they wanted him to get to Stanley or they want him for what he knows. Either is possible.
Did you get any information about the sisters?
What do I know of these sisters?
You know Etta and Beulah very well. They run a club called the Harem, which has routinely been. The cops have tried to shut it down 1,000 times. They think the name is a black mark on the face of Chicago. But Etta and Beulah have been running the Harem for several years by themselves. They play nice with everybody. You also know that they are the people who dispersed the new location and the new password for the blood bank as it moves location around the city. So their club, the Harem, is considered neutral territory. They're friends to all. You actually have a buddy, Beltrain, who has served them for quite some time as a colleague and as a friend.
From what I know of them, I mean, I realize any of us are capable of anything, but do they seem like the type that would hire lupine hitters?
Nothing in their demeanor would suggest that to you.
Well, this doesn't really seem their way here, but it's possible. Personally, I think it was an inside job. The lupines got past the alarm and the cop couldn't.
Does seem a little bit suspicious.
She also smells very new.
She's very new.
Yes. All right,
Yeah.
let's get in the car and make our way there. We will have a formulated plan by the time we get to the Harem.
Considering back in those days, sitting in the front seat was the bad seat, I just automatically go get in the front seat.
He calls shotgun.
Literally.
And as you all take your seats, it's strange. Lucy's car seems larger than a normal car for the time period, so you all have plenty of space to kind of stretch out. As you pull away from the curb and the disheveled storefront that was this safe, secure blood bank, that's where we're going to take our break for the evening. So we'll be back in just a couple minutes, guys, maybe 5, and stick around. We'll have some more story to tell. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. When we left our kindred, they were on their way to the Harem to meet with Miss Etta and Beulah Pendergrast. What was the plan when y'all got there? Are we back?
Okay,
I'm going to wait for a confirmation from chat that this is working again.
Back.
We back?
Okay, well, we can find out because I'm going to give the dog a treat because Dave said he wants the dog to get a treat. So, dog get a treat.
You better feed that Scotty.
And
hey, guys,
I can see him getting a treat. So
thanks for bearing with us. That was fun. I love it when Twitch does the Twitch thing. So, we last left our kindred as they were departing from the blood bank and heading to speak with Etta and Beulah Pendergrast at the Harem. It seems like we had a little bit of a plan in place, but I believe Miss Lucy was going to have a quick aside with Rose before you all got too far, correct?
Yeah, I would like to have an aside with Rose, if that's okay.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Darling, do you have a moment?
I mean, technically I'm on the clock, but yeah.
Again, wasn't much of a question, just letting you know that I wanted to speak with you. Did you plan on taking your own car?
I mean, yeah, sort of, got my stuff in there.
All right. I don't think that is a problem, as long as you follow some conditions that I'm going to line up for you. You do not radio in anything that is going on. You simply follow. Comprende?
Crystal clear, like, wouldn't want anyone to see what happened in there.
Do you know, have you ever heard of my name before?
I mean, Lucy is a pretty common name.
Good to know. And you've never seen my face?
Not that I can recall. I mean...
We would like to leave it like that, if that is okay with you.
It's fine. I can get why nobody here can trust me, but I ain't breaking no masquerade.
I don't think it's that anybody doesn't trust you. It's the fact that you are a cop, but you are also kindred. So it is quite an interesting dichotomy that you are dealing with here, and I feel very, very conflicted for you. So as much as I would like to trust you because you are one of us, I also have my reservations.
I get it. You guys do some shady stuff. You guys do some shady stuff, and to be frank, I really have no interest in figuring out what, because...
If we had more time, I would like you to define what you mean by shady, as I don't understand the English language as best as I should, but from the tonality that you use it with, I believe that that is a varying of a moral compass, and that not everybody is actually doing shady things, but just really trying to survive.
Yeah, I learned that a lot. It's why I don't bring in a lot of the girls who work the corners.
You are a very kind person. At any rate, please adhere to my conditions, otherwise we might have some issues.
Yeah, I'll be parking a block away, walking the rest of the way, not causing a riot.
You are welcome to be in my car if you don't wish to drive.
Nah, I gotta fold up the coat, put away the badge, put away the gun. Look,
Alright, okay, sir. I will let
presentable.
you. With that, Lucy just kind of departs and lets her get in her own car, and Lucy gets in the car.
While she was having the aside, Mev literally leans forward with her hands like this onto the front seat to Enoch. What do you think they're talking about?
She's getting the new kid up to speed. Probably telling her what not to say to get herself killed tonight.
She's lucky. Most of us didn't have a Lucy. And then she sits all the way back again.
There's only one Lucy, yes.
Correct.
What is Henry doing while this is going on? You just wanted to come here to conduct some business.
Yes, and this evening is turning much more tedious than I have several stops that I needed to make tonight, and I'll have to explain to everyone why I wasn't able to get to the official places at the official time to do the official business, and really just carrying on conversations with himself and in his own head. Some are out loud, some are in his head, but he also has a notebook that he consults pretty regularly that looks like gibberish to just about anyone else. It's a series of numbers and lines with letters, alphanumeric codes, and things of that nature.
They wouldn't understand.
No, absolutely not. I barely understand, to be honest. Let's see.
And as Lucy enters the car, you pull away into the streets of Chicago. It's a pretty quiet ride, all things considered. Most of you are familiar with the Harem. Most of you have met Etta and Beulah Pendergrast at one point or another. Some of you have done work for them. Some of you are very close with their cohorts. But you all know that the Harem is a safe place. Mortals hang out there. Kindred hang out there. You just go there to let loose. Miss Lucy.
Question for
Yes,
you.
dear.
The Harem, because you say that it is a safe place.
Mhm.
Is it neutral territory? Is it Cam territory? What is that kind of safe place that we're looking at?
It is entirely neutral. So one of the things that Etta and Beulah insisted upon when they founded the Harem was that they not alienate business anywhere. They insisted that kindred were welcome to come and play, but no one was to be murdered on the premises. On the premises. Conveniently, there are a few very close exits that lead into neighboring alleyways and neighboring buildings. But nothing inside the club should be drawing suspicion.
Okay.
Enoch.
As we get there, I just sort of open the door and I just say, if you hear screaming, run. Otherwise, I'll find you inside. And I go around back like I'm there on business because I'm going to act like absolutely nothing's happened, because if they expect me to be dead, they knew that the hit was going down.
Mm-hmm.
So I just roll in like it's just another night.
Are you heading, are you looking for anyone in particular, or are you just kind of like going in and scoping out the crowd? What is your intent?
If I can locate my buddy Beltrain, I'd like to.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are the rest of you doing? Rose, we know that you were going to park a block away and rejoin everyone. I take it that Lucy, Mev, and Henry, do you all wait for her?
I mean, I think we would probably wait for her just to make sure she actually followed us.
Yes.
Probably wise.
While we wait, I would definitely just talk a little business with Lucy and let her know that Henry is in fact very good at those little numbers and columns. I'm just
That is
saying.
good to know. Is he is taking care of a lot of my business.
Yes, well, you know how I feel about people knowing my business, and he hasn't let anybody know.
Well, good. I am glad that he is a tight boy.
I'm very discreet.
That's what I was saying. Yes.
Yes.
As he says, I'm very discreet, he starts looking up into the sky as if he sees something there that you don't see at all.
Missy darling, is everything okay?
Oh, absolutely. Always.
Was there something in the sky that you were looking at?
Oh, Just it's like flashes of light, connecting one thing to another. You know, we're all connected. There's a web that weaves us all together. Sometimes I see it.
And I think that's when Rose walks up and joins this conversation. So you hear, sometimes I see it.
So instead of the sound of, like, police-issued shoes, it's actually the sound of soft heels. As Rose walks up wearing a long red gown with a slit up part of one of the legs for easier movement, and a scarf, and her face is done up with a little bit of makeup. She curled her hair with her finger on the way down. And you can actually see that there is a rose tattoo on her ankle. And she's just like, she's a little bit nervous, and it does show a little bit in her body language. And she is carrying like a small purse.
As worried as you all were that, you know, the police officer's gonna stand out like a sore thumb in this place, when Rose walks up, you almost don't recognize her. She is stunning. She is a gorgeous woman ready for a night out on the town. And you never would have picked her for a police officer.
Officer O'Connell, you clean up well.
Hmm.
Oh, indubitably.
Between the name and the tattoo, it's very lucky you're one of mine.
Named after my mom, actually.
That's nice.
Yeah.
All right. We need to come in inconspicuously. Mr. Darling, is it possible that you would take Rose on your arm? Make sure that
Almost.
nothing happens to her?
I would be absolutely honored to escort a lovely lady such as yourself.
And Mev, it looks like you and I can walk in together, if that's okay with you. Oh my god.
Absolutely.
Might I make the suggestion of slipping a sawbuck on the way
Bird,
in?
I swear.
It's how we're all connected.
It's how we're all connected. It's the web.
I see. I told you.
That's what
Yeah,
Henry
it
is
is.
looking at. The little bird
Windows
making the weird
errors.
clicking
Yes.
noises.
Normally slipping a sawbuck to get into a club like this.
Oh, my dear Rose, I don't mean to be rude, but I definitely assure you that these ladies don't need to slip anybody anything to get anywhere in this city. Stay tight with me. Stay close, and we'll get through this.
Rose, he smells bad. Like, he's beautiful. This is the most beautiful man you've ever laid eyes on. But he smells really bad.
Did you get a little bit of corpse on you on your way out, on your shoe maybe? Did you step in something?
Oh no, I mean that might be the former owner of this suit that you're smelling.
And as he adjusts the jacket, you get this big whiff of just like rotten food and BO, and
I'm so glad
it smells
I
like the
don't-
drunk tank.
I'm so glad I don't have a gag reflex anymore.
Mev, meanwhile, would offer Lucy her arm.
I will gladly accept.
And as the four of you approach the entrance, I take it you all are going in the front.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Is there any other way?
You know, the runner went somewhere.
It's a valid entrance.
Went in the back door. The four of you approach the front, arm in arm, as a group, collectively. You're all beautiful people. And the doorman seems to exchange a look of acknowledgement with Mev and with Lucy as they pass him, and then he kind of like as Rose and Henry go by, you can tell he's trying to decide which one of you to check out. Like he's trying to look, but like he can't make up his mind. And the four of you enter the harem. Just a minute. Mr. Enoch.
We're under attack.
Yeah. 15 werewolves fall from the sky.
And
And
Cloak of
carpet.
Shadow. I'm like,
Oof.
Mr. Enoch, you make your way to the back entrance, and you're walking with a purpose. So, if any of these idiots put out a hit on you, that way they won't slow you down. You find the back entrance easily enough. Because this is a safe zone, it's not guarded the same way the blood bank was, and you head right on in the back. And you know that there's a large open space at the front of this club where the entertaining typically takes place. There are several private rooms back here in the back, but the real business takes place in the corner office at the end of the hall. And that is where you can expect to find Beltrain if he is here this evening.
I would like to go to see if he is.
Okay. You head past several rooms where various activities are audibly taking place. Some of them sounding more pleasant than others. But as you make your way to that corner office, you, again, just a light rapping on the door. Anyone who's going to come back here knows this room exists already. No one's looking for a good time in the corner office. And a familiar voice from the other side says, "The fuck you waiting in the hall for? Come in."
I open the door and I walk in.
Enoch's that you?
I just turn my eyes red for a second and I say, "The one and only, ma'am." Oh, wait, is this Beltrain?
Beltrain's a sir.
Yeah, right, yeah. The one and only, brother.
I can't do man voices.
It's fine. It's Joe Pesci. It's fine. It's up here. It's up here.
Beltrain is a short guy. Middle-aged. He's never really been one for fashion or style. He looks a little bit goofy. But you know that Beltrain has slit many throats. And he's one of the few mortals trusted 100% by the kindred. And he's been compensated very well for his loyalty. You've known him a long time. You've done many deals with him. You've done lots of pickups, lots of drop-offs, lots of disposals, tracked down some people, had a couple of laughs, maybe some drinks. You shared some good times. You're what you would call friends. As much as Enoch has friends. So this short man with a bulbous nose and kind of bald on top with weird little tufts of hair coming out of the side of his head, he actually gets up and comes over to give you a hug.
Looking pretty swanky there, buddy.
I've been trying to take a couple of notes from your book. You've always got the...
Oh, no.
I don't know if those are even actually your clothes.
This isn't what you want, trust me. No. Question for you, brother.
Yeah.
You know of any unusual heat in the neighborhood tonight?
What kind of heat?
I sort of like look both ways, and I just kind of say, we deal straight with each other, right?
Yeah, I'd never lie to you.
If you knew somebody was gunning for me, you'd say something, right?
Yeah. It'd be bad for business if I didn't, you know what I mean?
It'd be terrible for business, you know. There's all, for every one of us you see, there's three you don't. You know how it goes.
Yeah, that still haunts me from the first time you told me that years ago.
It's only gotten more true, brother, but that's why you've stayed so young and pretty all this time watching your tuckus, right?
You know, I went gray early, but I'm still alive, so I can't complain.
Well, I made some interesting associates tonight that are going to be coming in the front of house soon. Some of them you know, a couple you might not. We're just sort of looking to find out something interesting. Oh, by the way, Ed and Beulah in? I thought they got a meeting with LaForge tonight. Are they here? Did they leave already? Or were they?
Yeah, they mentioned something about a meeting, but you know that the little kid turtle who used to run around and distribute the passwords and all that. He disappeared earlier today, and I think they were trying to, keep everything tight until they knew what happened to him.
Oh, they go looking for him themselves, or they just kind of tuck tail?
You know, Etta and Beulah, they wouldn't leave this place if their lives depended on it.
That's what I was thinking. It didn't sound like them. Yeah, right. Sure.
We tried to send someone over there, but the security that Chester puts in place is just...
Fuck those guys, right? Yeah. He'd be doing pretty good to start over from scratch, if you ask me. Burn the whole thing down and start over.
I mean, he probably would, but it's not his building. He rents them from time to time. But the little turtle disappeared, and did something happen?
Where's the last place anybody saw Turtle?
Well, he was up the street a little ways. He was telling people the codes like usual, and
yeah. He still owes me a 5 spot for some butts I got in mind. That's all. So I figure I'll pay him a visit. Maybe I shake him down for my coin,
What? No. Enoch, you can't pull one over on me like that. What happened? It's not like you to travel with a group at all. So something major must have gone on for you to...
I go over and
you have buddies now?
I go over and close the door, and I move my hand around so I touch if anybody's obfuscated. I actually show him that I really do it, and I just say, well, I do, but they're smart and they're lookers, which don't hurt, and they don't mind having me around, which is an interesting change of pace. But I just think I got between the bullet and the target earlier tonight, and I'm just looking for some answers.
I'm afraid all you're going to find here is more questions, my friend. The club's just been happening like normal.
Beltrain, you due for any time off, buddy? Such as it is.
You know me, I never really take a break. I was actually just going to head downstairs. And he kind of gives you a knowing look.
Yeah. No, we can head downstairs, but maybe after tonight, maybe take a couple days off. Go visit your mother or something.
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
I'm not exactly sure, but it's probably not going to be any harm in being out of town for a couple of days.
All right.
But downstairs, right?
Yeah.
You gotta meet this girl, by the way. This sexy fucking redhead. And the wildest thing about that description applies to 3 different women. Okay, that's crazy.
I mean, I'm a sucker for a redhead.
Who isn't, buddy? Who isn't?
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Well,
keeps you young.
Come downstairs with me. I got some papers I gotta show you, and then we'll come back up and you can ask Etta and Beulah yourself, I guess. But I don't think they're gonna tell you any different than I did.
Yeah. After we come back up, I'll pop in on them. Maybe have a bottle sent to the front for my guests. They like red, if you know what I mean.
Oh, so clever. So clever. He'll kind of walk over to the door and open it just a crack and yell something almost incoherent down the hall. It sounds like another language, but you get the sense that it's just kitchen shorthand that they use here. Of course, not actually asking for what they're asking for. Mm-hmm. And you hear, "Got it," from down the hall, and he closes the door behind him. Now, you know that this is one of those places where you can hide stuff pretty easily. This is that place. You've never seen the actual storeroom, so it's strange that you're being invited there now, but maybe he just forgot that you don't know where it is.
Beltrain don't usually forget nothing, though.
He's gonna... Oh, go ahead.
No, please. Were you...
He's gonna close the door behind him, walk diagonally across the room to a large cask that's against the wall. He's going to kick a very specific slat of wood, and the side of the cask will pop open, leading to a small spiral staircase going down.
It's a runner's creep. I love it. After you, buddy.
And he'll make his way down the stair steps. You follow?
It's sort of right after he goes down, I pull out one of my feral weapons and I just make a small scratch on the wall where the like hidden bookcase opens. And then I go down after him.
Okay. Let's pop back up front. The four of you have just entered this club. Now, the streets of Chicago are cold. They're quiet. They're sad. Everything's kind of gray. No one really seems to smile. It's almost as if the color has been sucked out of the world. And then you walk through the doors of the harem. And it's loud. And it's bright. And there's music and laughter. And people enjoying themselves. You do a quick scan of the room as you enter the doorway. And there are lots of plush sofas where couples are exchanging very private conversations. More than once as you scan the room, you see a woman casually draping her leg over a man's lap as she speaks with him. Couples are dancing on a small dance floor. There seems to be an abundance of drinks, which seems odd for the time period, certainly. But people are having fun. Mav, as you scan the room, you don't see Anna and Beulah right away. Henry.
I just want to, as we walk in, hold Rose's arm a little bit tighter and just say, be cool. Be cool.
Do this. There's so much color and noise and...
Just stay in tight and forget about some of the things that you may or may not see as we move forward.
Rose, make me a wits and awareness roll.
Yay. Yay, that's not a messy crit. That's 5 successes with a crit.
Good, because I don't know who you'd eat here.
Henry.
Oh. Bye, Justice. I love you. You notice, taking a few steps into this room and looking at everyone, at a cursory glance, it's all very glamorous. It's all very beautiful. It's all shiny. But upon closer inspection, as you and Henry walk past one of these couches where couples are chatting with each other and where people are conversing and giggling, everyone's makeup is just a little flaked. Their eyeliner's just a little runny. The clothes are just a little worn. The drinks look just a little watered down. It's beautiful, but sad.
Wow. Now this must be some attempt at an escape, wouldn't you say?
We're all trying to escape, dear. Each person decides where we're trying to escape to, though.
You know, the hint of a very deep, resonating understanding in that simple phrase that Henry utters.
No, you're pretty smart.
That's what I tell people.
I'm not very good at the socializing.
Neither am I, dear. But the thing is, if you show a pretty face, people forgive a lot of other eccentricities. Show your worth, and you will succeed. Now stay close. Keep your eyes open and your mouth.
Lucy and Mev. You all have been here before. You're familiar with the terrain. What do you do when you enter?
I certainly let go of Mev's hand or arm, because I know that we are going to be into such a treat with some artistic endeavors from the beautiful Mev, and I'm gonna just go find me a very dark corner, hopefully with lots of shadows, that I don't get to be seen by very many people. So that's where I'm at.
You attract several eyes on the way there, because you are you, after all. But you do make it to a darkened corner of the room.
Awesome. I don't pay any mind to them, and if anyone like locks eyes with me, I just give them the very like pouty, like, you really want to come talk to me right now? Like, I'm in no mood.
You see, there is one gentleman in particular whose Donna is. He's wearing a very fine suit. He even kind of looks familiar to you, like maybe you fed on him before. Yeah, I don't know. There have been so many.
Does he come up to me?
He tries to, and then you fix him with sort of this withering stare, and he like stops in his tracks and kind of pauses for a minute in a fight or flight reflex.
So as he pauses, I turn around and go, "Are you a person who frequents the church often? Are you part of the congregation?"
Is that some kind of code?
No, I just want to know if you are a spiritual man or not.
Yeah, I you do what you gotta do to get by these days, I guess.
No, I want to know, do you follow God or not?
Yeah.
Come with me.
He will.
And she lets him sit with her in like the dark shadows.
He follows you blindly. Mev.
Mev looks around and notices that it tends to get a little more shabby here every time she walks in. And she's been around long enough to see when people are desperate enough to pretend that nothing's wrong. So she does what she's learned how to do, which is to help people pretend. And she just walks straight over to the stage, does not care if somebody's on there already. She just kind of just looks at them and says, "Really?"
Sorry.
And would turn to the band, the band leader, and say, "You do know Gershwin, yes?"
Yeah, I think we can manage that, ma'am. Yeah.
Good job. And she would start singing to kind of draw the attention away from Lucy, who's just found a new friend.
Make me a performance and charisma roll.
Oh boy.
Let's see how entrancing this melody is.
While she's making that roll, I'd like to kind of start searching the room for our owners of the club. Bueller.
Okay.
Bueller.
That's all I can remember is the name. What was the name again?
Beulah and Etta Pendergrass.
Beulah,
not Bueller. 5?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Lucy, as you see Mev approach the stage and frighten off the poor singer that was there, you do a scan of the room, and you don't see Beulah or Etta anywhere. You don't see them out here. And then Mev starts singing. And it's gorgeous. And it's almost as if the whole club stops and holds their breath for a moment. And about 3 bars in, from the back room, a voluptuous woman with long raven hair sticks her head through the doorway. And you see Etta Pendergrast as a huge smile lights up her face. Mev, darling, it's been so long.
Mev just holds up a finger because she's still singing. They have to wait.
Etta is, we'll say barely dressed.
That's nothing I haven't seen before, so she's fine.
And it's nothing unusual for this club either. It's almost as if no one takes note of it. Rose, this seems weird to you, as she just sort of steps out. You notice a couple smudges of red on her skin, but she doesn't appear to be cut or anything. Yes, Lucy.
I was just saying, when Etta shows up, I kind of just raise my hand in the corner so that Etta can see that Lucy's there too.
Do you actually step out of the shadows to do that?
Well, I'm seated somewhat in the shadows, so no, I don't move. I just kind of like lean forward to like where the light's like gonna hit and just kind of tip my hat to her.
Yeah.
Well,
you do the Carmen Sandiego.
It does help that the lyrics of the song is, "There's somebody I'm longing to see. I hope that she turns out to be." That she's looking right at Lucy like.
Etta will give just a regal little wave.
Sorry, everybody.
She'll give just a regal little wave to you, Lucy, across the room, and then immediately look around and lock eyes on Henry. And the beautiful woman on Henry's arm. And she'll take a couple slow, intentional strides toward the two of you. And that is where we'll end this evening.
Uh-oh.
With Enoch going in a basement.
I set the boiler to overheat and explode.
Okay, well, you know, you're not a knocker, so no. Thank you guys so much for dealing with our shenanigans. I'm sorry about the technical difficulties. I appreciate you all in chat hanging out and watching us this evening. Watching us stumble through this 4-part series. On the way out, Michelle, do you have anything you want to talk about coming up this week? Anything you want to plug?
Well, on tomorrow I will be DMing a one-shot Dungeons & Dragons dinosaur race for Jasper's Game Day.
That sounds amazing.
Yep. And then on Monday I play Cyberpunk Red as the MedTech Corpo Candy. And I do this on Fridays, and another show that airs on Fridays, which is Deep Magic, which is a 20th anniversary Changeling game, where
Good
I
stuff.
play Iris Vildialmud.
Very cool. Changeling's a good time. I highly recommend everyone check it out forever. B-Dave, where can people find you?
You're not going to recommend Wraith? Why would you not recommend Wraith?
I want people to live happy, fulfilling lives.
What's the fun in that?
It's true.
Speaking as an opera singer, happy is overrated.
B. Dave Walters, I say words about things. Yes, you can find me all over the place, almost every night of the week doing something. Follow me on the tweetagrams at B. Dave Walters to find out. Let's see, tomorrow we're starting with the road to GaryCon, which is a JCM's game that is starting at 6 Pacific tomorrow, playing with a bunch of wonderful people. Monday at 11 is Champions of Lore. Monday at 4 as Idle Champions Presents, both on twitch.tv/CNE Games. There'll be episode 3 of this arc. Tuesday, Heroes of the Plains is returning, but not this week, next week. Then that week.
Remember all this stuff.
I don't expect anybody else to. I barely do it. I'm there for all of it. On the 17th, another thing that's not announced yet, but got to be announced soon. Black Dice Society is coming soon. We're vague bucking about that. That's going to be a thing. So just follow me on the Tweetagrams. That's all I got to do.
Do it. You won't. Cynthia.
Oh, hi. Let me take this off because like you actually see my face now because I'm not in the shadows. Hi y'all, Cynthia Marie here. You can find me on Instagram, Cynthia__Marie. I post all of my pictures from stuff like this and all the other shenanigans I get up to, or Twitter at CynDancer, where I post a lot about my my road to recovery in terms of anxiety and depression. So come hang out with me if you have if you want like a safe place to just hang out and be yourself. I'm coming up on a few shows. I too will be playing Cyberpunk Red on a different channel. It's the oh no, what I pick? Oh, the Initiative Order. There we go. I was like, why did I forget the channels? So that'll be a one shot. It'll be on March 13th. I don't remember the time right now, but it's an evening game. So just check out my social media and I'll let you know when that's happening. And then I'm on Live Action Roleplay, which is a podcast that I started about 3 or 4 years ago with 2 of my really great friends, and we talk about role playing and all the awesomeness that goes around with it and how-to tutorials. And on there, we blew up as a channel on Twitch, so I will be playing on Boardroom Angels, I believe coming up this Tuesday or next Tuesday, I can't remember which one, where I get to play an angel about to be planning the Armageddon. So,
low key, but no stress. There, nothing.
Yeah, it's great. It's fine. It's fine. Otherwise, after that, I'm actually going to be kind of taking a little bit of a break from role playing outside of obviously Ash and Ruin, just to kind of take care of myself. And as I talked about with mental health, I needed a break. So, love you all.
Good, healthy. Miss Kelly.
Oh, I thought Justice was next. Oh, sorry. Hello, I'm Kelly, mostly known as the Opera Geek, but that is not what my mother named me. Surprise. So obviously Fridays I'm here on Ash and Ruin. Mondays I have the immense pleasure and honor, and I'm not being sarcastic, which is weird for me, of playing on Rime of the Frost Maiden with both Diana and Justice, who have 2 of the most amazing characters. Hello. And then let's see here. So that Tuesday I stream video games, I guess. And then coming up soon, I will also be on Saturdays doing Let's Get Wild Mount, where I get to play a gunslinger that has already been nerfed by our DM Gil Ramirez for being too heckin' awesome. Thursday nights, I am on the official Sirenscape and our Telsorian Games sponsored Cyberpunk Red, which has 3 episodes left. I am the rocker boy, Olympia, which is real fun. Gabe James Games just told the entire city he was my boyfriend. He's not my boyfriend. This is just funny.
But I heard it through the whole city, so.
I mean...
Yeah, I definitely heard it on the radio.
It was on the internet. That means it's true.
It must be true then. So.
I mean, you just said it again.
It's true.
So
I mean,
that
honestly,
also makes it more true.
Yeah,
I haven't even played my game yet, and I'm going to probably plug that in my game, just letting you know.
I mean...
Hey, so, I just heard on my agent that
I know, like small secret because nobody seems to get it. I make our poor DM, who is amazing with accents. I make him do an Austrian accent because my agent's name is Wolfie, aka Mozart, so he has to speak in an Austrian accent the entire time he speaks to me, which is just me being cruel for no reason.
It seems mean. Seems mean.
You know. So yes, but this is fantastic. Thank you to everybody for being kind for the fact that I have no idea what I'm doing.
Neither do I. That's the secret, Kelly.
Oh, really?
It's all made up and the points don't matter.
Yeah, this is whose line is it anyway with vampires?
Oh, yeah. Okay, that works for me. Thank you. I'm just happy I finally get to play with V-Dave instead of having him be the GM.
Yay. Eustace, where can people find you?
Oh, hey. I am one half the team at Bard and Barbarian, so you can find me here on our channel a couple days a week. We do a morning show on Tuesdays and Thursdays, as well as alternating Thursdays, Call of Cthulhu. You can find me on all the socials as Stashmandu, where I'm trying to figure out Twitter. I'm real bad at it. So if you have any tips, tricks, or just yell things at me and I'll figure it out. Or Instagram, where you see a bunch of pictures of my mustache and my face. It's the moneymaker. It's all I got, really. That's what I'm going for here. And I got this on Fridays. Mondays, we're on Wandering DM's channel. We've got a couple new things coming in April as we wrap this up, so I'll talk more about that. Actually, April's a pretty exciting month, and we will talk about that towards the end of this.
And I'm Diana. I've been the storyteller this evening. What?
Michelle.
Yeah?
She said her things.
She did
first.
Okay.
I did say my things. I'm like, what did I forget? I did forget.
I'm sorry.
Wow.
I was like,
wow.
Do I have something on my
Next
thing?
time I'm going to forget Justice on purpose.
Malkavian's going to milk, man.
Look, I got a lot of things going on up here, and they're not all. There's a couple missing circuits.
It's part of
The
the web,
beard
man.
takes up a lot of neurons to
of
grow
secrets,
that beautifully.
It's truth. It's truth.
Thank you all for playing. I love you all. I love this game. Thank you all for showing up and for hanging out in chat. I love you all. You're amazing. If you want to help me pay these wonderful people for their time, because I know that they have better things they could be doing, you could head on over to barnbarbarian.com and buy one of the Ash and Ruin dice sets. That's what's going to allow me to pay these people for putting up with me. What's that, Cynthia?
Real quick, can we talk about how beautiful those Opera Geek books are from Elderwood? Elderwood, right? Academy? Yeah. Gorgeous.
This is my dumb butt leaving mine in the other room, so I couldn't even plug it.
I love you so much. Go to bardbarbarian.com and check stuff out. We have a few things there that are designed to help out other creators. One of them being the spell books that we created with Kelly's help, that are super cool for the College of the Opera.
Also, I would like to point out that Diana is amazing, and she needs to stop talking down to herself, because I would be here regardless of anything, because I love her so much.
I just would say, I thought you were going to say we need to discuss how beautiful Diana is, and then
No,
you went to the book,
have you
which is
seen
valid,
Diana?
and then
Diana's
come back
gorgeous.
with- it's
Right
all-
there.
It's all true. I mean,
I know.
you did
I'm gonna have to make
again,
a blush of life roll here in a minute.
You did it
Hello,
on the
welcome
internet
to the,
again.
He's gonna kill me now, but
the
it's
Diana
okay.
D'Amico appreciation stream.
This is
It's
Diana
canon.
D'Amico's
It was
appreciation.
said
Real
online
quick.
on camera.
Real quick, Diana, for your first game, you were freaking incredible.
Yes.
Amazing.
So does that mean you guys will show back up next week? Because that's what I'm worried about right now.
No.
Jury's
You
out.
left us on a cliffhanger. We gotta come back.
Okay.
It's rare that you find a DM or storyteller that makes somebody feel super comfortable when they're super scared, like I was, to play a game that I have never played, and I was like, "Oh man, this is great."
I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm thankful. I'm gonna keep doing my best. I learned from B. Dave Walters, so I learned from someone who is exceptional at what they do. But I'm gonna call it tonight. We're all gonna go and relax, and we'll be back here next week to see what happens at the Harem.
Real quick, there's only 12 sets of Ash and Ruin left.
Cool.
Just throwing that out
Looks
there.
like
Just
everyone's
throwing
getting
that out
paid
there.
then.
I think there's only 6 of the College of the Operas left. The books now left.
But help me support these beautiful people.
Everything's so beautiful.
All right.
And shiny.
We love you all. Have a good night. We'll see you next Friday. Bye.
Bye.